born of trash.
All right, bro, we're rolling. Whoa, forgot rolls. Maybe we'll leave that in. After much strife and ridiculousness of setting up all this stuff here at the OB Brewery down here in Ocean Beach, California, I'm out here with a real special friend of mine. I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a second, but I'm Sammy the Bull, and we're here with another deck tech. Normally, Boros is known as an aggro build, right? And so what we're doing today is we're going to show you something that you can do with Boros that is very powerful and way different than what Boros normally does. So without further ado, my guest today, go ahead and introduce yourself, bud.
Hey, what's up? I'm over here with, I'm from the Raw Magic Group. My web handle is going to be Dirty Warlock, a.k.a. Filthy Warlock, a.k.a. Dirty Crusty.
Dirty Crusty. Dirty. All right. So what are we doing today?
Right.
I told him about Boros, but what are we doing specifically?
Right. I made a Boros Reanimator build with Hofri Ghostforge.
Nice. Hofri Ghostforge. So what does he do?
That's right. He's a dwarf cleric that says spirits you control get +1/+1 and have haste and trample. And whenever another non-token creature I control dies, exile it. And when I do, I create a token that is a copy of it. This is the reanimating part, right? When it dies, it comes back. And when that token leaves the battlefield, then the original card goes back to the graveyard.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a lot of synergies in this deck, right? Where it really just wants to abuse ETBs and leave the battlefield abilities. I should really say enter abilities.
Enter abilities, right? They changed it.
Yeah.
So Jinx, you owe me a Coke. But so that's the whole thing that I wanted to point out too is your ability to take a normal color pair like Boros,
right,
and then find a way to turn it into something that people don't normally do with those colors, right?
Exactly.
Because a lot of people think Rograk and Arden, and then they get a bunch of equipment, and then aggro go,
right.
But you found a way to take Boros into a whole different realm of we're gonna make a Reanimator deck out of Boros. So, and I've known you for 10 years almost now, so I just want to point out that this guy here is one of the best deck builders that I've ever seen in Magic, especially in the SoCal area. I don't know about other areas, but I've been a couple other places and played Magic in different parts of the country. I'm going to say, man, you're one of the best deck builders I've ever met, actually.
Thank you. Thanks for that compliment.
Yeah, for sure, man. So Hofri is, we're trying to sacrifice our creatures, or get rid of them, put them in the graveyard or something,
right,
somewhere, shape, or form, and then he's going to make a copy of it, in a spirit form.
Right.
Okay. So with that out of the way, so take us through the rest of the deck, man. So that's Hofri. What are we doing with the deck?
Okay. Well, this is mostly a creature build. I'm going to save that for last. I'm going to talk about some of the key card types that I have and what really it does for the deck. Right now, I have 3 enchantments in the deck. Land tax, I feel like what Boros struggles in a lot of draw abilities. So with land tax, I always pair it with the artifact Scroll Rack. Every time you get a land tax hit, you search up for 3 basic lands, and what you can do with Scroll Rack, you just pay 1 and essentially draw 3 extra cards for 1 every time you get a land tax hit.
Oh wow! Wait a minute, explain that one more time.
Yeah, it's a legacy combo.
Okay,
it's a legacy interaction, like a tempo.
So legacy format, right? You're bringing that into Commander.
You always want to take notes. You always want to take notes on different formats and what they do with it, and see if you could port that over to the format you play. And that's what I really took inspiration from.
Oh man, yeah,
an old school legacy deck with land tax and scroll rack to draw an additional 3 cards.
Wow.
Every turn.
Look at this. See, this is what I was talking about. Big brain plays with Sean here.
Right.
What'd you say?
The Dirty Warlock.
The Dirty Warlock.
The
Dirty Warlock. All right. So land tax, drawing us cards.
Right, helping us draw cards, if not fixing our mana. Because in this deck, in this current build I have things that cost double red and double white.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of want to need that little extra help for it anyway.
And land tax gets you basics, right?
Land tax gets you basics.
Okay.
Yeah. Funny thing, in the deck list I gave to you, I have snow basics. There's nothing that works with snow in this deck. Just nothing at all.
So why snow?
Because I had them.
Right? That was in the closet.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that feeling exactly.
It goes in my land pile.
Yeah, it's in the lamp pile. By the way, folks, if you're hearing any background noise, don't worry about that. We're just out here at OB. It's the beach. There's a surf competition and like what was it? Skate competition going on. So don't mind any background noise.
Yeah. Gotta love the SoCal.
Yeah, it's a great day. It's like an overcast, nice weather out and everything. So
a little June gloom early.
Yeah, right.
And the next enchantment I want to talk about is kind of key with the deck, the whole sacrificing thing.
Right.
The thematics.
Yeah.
It's sneak attack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to love sneak attack, right? So at the end of somebody's turn, if I have red up, I'll just sneak attack one of my key ETB creatures.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll just die. But if it dies, it comes back.
Right. Because Hofri's out.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
Yeah, why not?
Right? And it's totally outside of the frame of what I ever thought it could be like a red-white deck. Because I'm not really like normally a red-white player.
Yeah, it's because every single time you've seen it, it's either like combat tricks.
Right.
It really always has to deal with combat.
People that play Feather and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Those kind of people.
Yeah. So what sneak attack also lets me do, it lets me use an enter the battlefield trigger. I'm going to keep on calling it enter the battlefield.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think anybody really cares. It's just like, that's what they call it, you know? So
that's what they called it back in the day, and then they changed it over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But it also allows my creature's abilities to be some of my answers. Since this is mostly a creature deck, there are 39 creatures in the count, it would allow an enter ability to be an interaction.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For one red. And I feel like that's really good.
I think that's worth it.
Right. And then the other enchantment is more of a pet card. It's called Song of the World Soul.
Yeah, I saw that in there. I was like, why is this in there?
It's because I'm making token copies of my creatures. And what's fun with having one Sun Titan? Having 6.
Having 6 Sun Titans.
Why not?
Why not have 6?
Let's have 5.
But how many triggers is that? You know, oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Almost get your entire graveyard back if it's all 3 or less. You know?
Right. Now the next card type I want to just briefly mention is Sorceries.
Right.
Honestly, I just have 2 board wipes, a wheel, and a ritual spell. Nothing really too big outside of like commander standards there.
Yeah, and you want to like, and you got the I think the Mizium Mortars, right, for taking care of any kind of like threats and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a board wipe. Mizium Mortars.
Right, and it also gets rid of your stuff.
No, not this one, right? So feel 4 damage to each creature I don't control.
Oh, you don't control.
Yeah, it's a one man. I know that you're thinking, right? You'd think I would want to play board wise, but all the time I would have ways to instantly sacrifice my creatures. So it's more of a like I get to curtail what ability I want to put on the stack.
Oh, nice.
Which is why I stood away from like just all my
straight
creatures,
boardwalks.
just straight boardwalks.
Okay, yeah,
Might as well put in the 2 that I know of that are one-sided.
You want to control your sacrificing. You don't want to be like subject to a whole board wipe.
Exactly.
You're like, I want to make sure this happens the way I want it to happen.
Exactly.
See, look at that.
Exactly. I think it was called Final Showdown. I think is a newer one that needs to get put in here.
Oh yeah, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a one-sided. Kind of one-sided. It saves 1 creature, and if I could save Hofri,
exactly.
Sometimes that's the key.
That is key.
All right,
so we went through enchantments, sorceries. What about your instants?
Right. Okay, time to talk about instants. We have the first game changer I'm going to mention, Enlightened Tutor.
Game changers. Everybody knows what game changers are. They just updated the list.
They just updated the list, and I still only have 2 game changers.
Oh, that's good. See,
perfect.
We're right in bracket 3.
Right in bracket 3. Enlightened Tutor. Enlightened Tutors, of course, get like Soul Ring, or sometimes even. I had other utility creatures in this deck, like artifact creatures, but I decided against them. Okay. I felt like I had enough reach as is.
Like Esper Sentinel or something like that?
Esper Sentinel is a great utility creature, but I'm talking about more interaction. Like I was telling you before, I really want to abuse the enter ability.
Oh, you're talking about like, what's that, Mortar Golem? 7 mana?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing,
Meteor
right?
Golem.
Meteor Golem, that's right.
Meteor Golem.
Yeah. So they get that ETB, destroy something.
Yeah, I used to have that in there, but then I found myself, you know what? I feel like Enlightened Tutor gets enough reach as is. I really didn't need the Meteor Golem for it.
So what's your main get when you're playing the Enlightened Tutor?
Oh, I only run 33 lands in this deck. It gets a Soul Ring.
It gets a Soul Ring. Yeah, if you can get anything, you get Soul Ring. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Pyroblast, just standard like anti-blue. If I'm getting countered, might as well counter back.
Yeah, if you're playing Boros, you need anti-blue.
I put Path to Exile and Swords of Plowshare in here. I know a lot of people these days are cutting Path to Exile.
Yeah, because it gives the land.
It gives them a land.
Yeah.
But I could also use these on my creatures too. Like I said before, I'm running 33 lands.
Right.
And if I point it at a token, it just goes in my graveyard for me to dig later for it.
Right, and then you get a land.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Good to go.
For all-purpose removal, I have Wild Magic Surge. It destroys target permanent an opponent controls, and then they kind of polymorph into the next one.
Right, okay.
So
is that bad in some cases?
Some cases, but usually if you get a Rhystic Study, you're not going to like get anything worse after that.
Right, yeah.
Usually.
I mean, you could throw them into a one ring, maybe. Who knows? But...
Well, you can't. You have to blow. You blow up an enchantment. They get an enchantment, never a one.
Oh, it's the same type.
Right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right.
Like I said, I don't play Boros very often. So.
I understand. I have Flawless Maneuver for those times where I just need a quick save for all my creatures.
That just came out in the Marvel set.
Flawless Maneuver just was...
Yeah, Captain America. He's got a flawless maneuver.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Secret Lair. Okay. Yep. And then Generous Gifts for just...
anything.
Any target removal. Even my own, too. Like I said before, I like using this stuff on my own. It could, like, help me out in a pinch, like if somebody goes to do an exile thing, or the new boogeyman on the corner, Deadpool, trading card.
Yeah. We'll take a second on Deadpool. How good do you think that's going to be? It can be anything.
Oh, Deadpool trading card. I feel like when it's abused, it's abused. It's going to feel really bad that they're going to play your strategy.
Right, because he can basically take any card text, and make that now his. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's another story. This is bracket 3.
We're in bracket 3.
If your friends are playing Deadpool trading card in bracket 3, they better be playing the most friendliest Deadpool you've ever seen.
It's not going to be the friendliest Deadpool ever.
Right, and then I have one of my favorite cards from the Forgotten Realms. You find some prisoners. Right.
So you're going to see when we look at the hands that I kind of pulled up for you here a little bit, and you're going to tell me whether that card came up quite a bit in the hands that I pulled.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it, right?
Yeah.
You're going against like the whole strategy of like, okay, you want to watch out for some game changers. It feels really great, like completely messing up somebody's Vampiric Tutor.
Oh, yeah.
Vampiric Tutor on your end step. I'm going to exile the top 3 cards of your library, and I'm going to exile 1.
Right.
And I'm going to be able to play it myself.
And I'm going to see what that card was.
Exactly.
That you thought was so fun to go get.
Exactly. Sometimes I get 2 Soul Rings in this deck.
Right. And doesn't it also give you the initiative to go to the dungeon?
No, not this one.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they put that on any sort of competitive costed instance.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's not. But isn't that like another part of your deck here is also the initiative?
So the initiative is a small theme of the deck. I only have 2 creatures that mess with the initiative and 1 creature that it goes crazy with dungeon delving.
Right. Is that Resplendent Angel or whatever?
Right.
Yeah, I saw that card. We'll get into that here in a second, the creatures.
Yeah.
But I saw that. I was like, wow, that could be nuts.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it really is bonkers sometimes.
All right, let's look at your artifacts, man. What do we got for artifacts?
So I decided not to go maximum output on sacrifice outlets. I picked 2 key ones that I thought were fun enough.
Yeah, I saw one of them there, the Claws of Gix.
Yeah, Claws of Gix. Claws of Gix I feel like is really underplayed when it comes to sacrifice outlets. For 1 mana, you could sacrifice any permanent.
Right.
And then you'll just gain a life. But the thing is that like it works well with a huge creature pile.
And Reanimator.
Yeah, and a Reanimator theme.
Right.
And then I have Ashnod's Altar. I chose that one over Phyrexian Altar just because I feel like the mana that I get from it isn't really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't really care about the colored mana so much.
Right.
But getting the 2 mana, that could probably help you out a little bit better, right?
It can help me out a little bit, but I really just need a way just to put the creatures in my graveyard just to get that Hofri trigger.
And that's for free too, right? With Altar?
Right.
Yeah, you just say sack and get the 2 mana. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Then I just have a ramp package. I do have the other game changer, Mana Vault, just because it's something I pulled. I thought to myself, well, I have 33 lands in a deck. Might as well put in some really good mana rocks.
And also, Hofri being 5 mana,
exactly,
red, white, and 3, that could get him out on turn 2-ish.
Yeah.
Turn 2, 3, something like that.
Yeah, turn 2, turn 3.
Yeah.
And then I just have like the 2 mana rocks after Soul Ring and Mana Vault. I have Boros Signet, Mind Stone, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone. I feel like, ramp is self-explanatory.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, that one's...
Right. Then I have the Scroll Rack. Which is why... why I mentioned it when I brought up land tax. Honestly, if I were to use my Enlightened Tutor in the deck, if I have one, most likely I'll get the other.
Okay. Yeah, so if you have the Soul Ring, you're getting the Scroll Rack.
Right. So if I have the Scroll Rack, I'll get the land tax. If I have the land tax, I'll get the Scroll Rack.
Okay.
Because drawing fee, I feel like it's better than a Soul Ring most times.
And yeah, so you say normally you go get the Soul Ring, but like if you're not, if you already got that, or if you're already good on mana, then you don't get that.
Yeah.
You kind of like get your hand. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So like I said before, it's a interaction ported over from a legacy style deck, old school legacy style deck. Yeah. And I felt like when I got into Magic, that was like one of the first 2-card interactions that I kind of fell in love with. It was just, oh wait, draw 3 cards? Oh wait, draw. All I have to do is be in white? White's one of the worst cards to draw colors. Yeah, I might as well do that. I know. Why not put in any sort of like bad 2-color combination, 3-color combination, and I'll make sure to draw. Swiftfoot Boots, honestly, I like that a lot better than Lightning Greaves because of the functionality of targeting my own things. Right. Scroll of Fate is one of my fun ones. In fact, Scroll of Fate and Sword of Light and Shadow are the last 2 artifacts. So why is Sword of Light and Shadow? I saw that one and I was like, you could have picked any of them. Why that one? Because it gets things back from my graveyard. And if this is a true Reanimate build, I want to be able to do that in many ways. Have many ways to get my creatures back. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Scroll of Fate, it's actually have a fun interaction, right? Scroll of Fate says you can tap it to manifest a card from your hand. And it's always great to manifest a 6-drop right when somebody else played a board wipe. Right. I'll manifest a 6-drop as a 2/2, and with Hofri out, it'll come back as the 6/6. Nice. All right. Well, that's the sorceries, instants, artifacts, enchantments. Right, no battles. No battles. Yeah. All right. All right. Now we got to talk about. Now we got to talk about this creature package, which is significant. Normally, people don't play 39 creatures. That's quite a lot, but for you, I think it makes sense because you're trying to like get a bunch of ETBs, right? Exactly. So I have strong creatures and then I have utility creatures. Right. Most of the creatures in this deck are going to be utility. In fact, and as you can see on the screen also, you'll see there that we have them all laid out up here so you can see them actually. But here as we're filming, right, we're just going to like look at them on the table here. So don't mind us. So everything, in fact, is a utility creature with the exception of Sarah's Ascended. That's honestly just a strong 1-mana play. And then also for 1 mana, I have Elsiad of Life's Bounty, which is a creature that doesn't really see a lot of play, but it's a quick way to protect somebody. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, especially Hofri. Yeah, and if my Hofri's out and I have a way to protect it by sacrificing the Elsiad of Life's Bounty, I can come back to protect it again. Go. Exactly, on the same turn. Yeah. I have 2 soul sister effects. I have Guide of Souls and Soul Warden. Okay, so you're gaining some life. Gaining some life, and Guide of Souls can give the added ability of making something stronger and attack with evasion. Okay. I have the best utility creature in 1-drop, Esper Sentinel, I think. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't add that to the game changer. I know, right? Yeah. Golly, we're gonna put on like deflecting spot, right? No, come on. And then one of my favorite utility creatures has to be the Ocelot. Oh yeah, you're making tokens. I'm making token copies of really strong creatures. Right. Might as well get another one. And I noticed that smartly enough that a lot of your creatures are non-legendary. Right. And they just have good ETB. Yeah, most of my creatures are non-legendary. Honestly, it doesn't hinder the deck too much. It's just going to be one of those creatures where I don't try to make a token copy of it. Right.
Yeah, and even you're like whatever. I'll just get the ETB effect,
Right.
and then it'll be gone.
Right. Okay, let's get the legendary creatures out of the way since you mentioned them.
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
two legendary creatures I have in the deck other than Hofri is Feldon of the Third Path, which could make tokens of things in my graveyard. And then Mondrag, Glory Dominus, because it's
token
doubling. It could give itself indestructible, and if it dies with Hofri out, it'll come back as a token.
Hey. This is what I'm talking about, folks. My God. Boros Reanimator. Can you believe this?
Yeah, Boros Reanimator.
That's one of my most hated white creatures right there is the Aceris.
Sarah's.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh, God. It's great turn one, though.
Yeah, it's great. They should, in my own opinion, probably nobody else's opinion, they should ban that card from Commander. You're already above 30 life.
Game changer. Game changer.
Totally a game. Okay, there you go.
You got to move it to the game changer.
Move it to the game changer.
From game changer to ban.
Oh, God, we're moving the table. All right.
All right. So some of my other fun utility are my tutor creatures. I have.
Wait. Now, what about this guy right here?
Oh, Wandering Archaic.
Yeah.
Wandering Archaic is honestly one of the best interactive, automatic interactive creatures in all Magic.
That's like anti-blue in its own little package.
It's anti-blue. It's a you tutor, I tutor too.
Exactly. You want a Vamp Tutor? I'll Vamp Tutor.
Yeah.
Unless you pay some mana.
Sometimes I like to sing when that happens. Anything you could do, pay to, or else.
Right. Or else I get it. Yeah. And nobody wants to pay that too.
Nobody really does. People really, when you get to people who are competitive enough but don't want to play CDH, they're always trying to efficiently have their mana laid out and planned out. So no one really plans to pay for the extra 2.
Right, no, not at all.
Which is why I think Rhystic Study is a hated card, because nobody plans to pay the extra 1.
Nobody wants to pay the 1.
Exactly.
Nobody builds their deck going, hey, I think I'm going to pay for Rhystic Study with this deck.
Exactly. So the 3 tutor creatures I have is Imperial Recruiter and Recruiter of the Guard. Those kind of get some key Reanimator creatures that I'll talk about in a little bit. And then Ranger Captain of Essos, which has 2 functionalities. It gives me Sarah Ascendant.
Oh, yeah.
It gives me
Esper Sentinel.
Esper Sentinel.
Right.
It gives me Ocelot Pride.
Ocelot Pride.
Those are some of the fun key ones to get. But it also gets to sacrifice and stop people from doing any sort of shenanigans with non-creature spells.
Oh, yeah, especially. Yeah, it's like they're going to win. They're going to do that Thassa's Oracle. You're like, I'm going to sack.
Yeah, in response to you casting Thassa's Oracle.
I'm going to sack this.
Yeah. Or like on your upkeep, I'm going to sack.
Right, because I know what you're about to do.
Yeah.
And that's what it's used for.
Yeah.
Get them.
But what's also great about it is that when it's sacrificed, it comes back. I get 2 ETBs off of it.
Oh my God. See, how ridiculous. Oh my God. So good.
I get 2 enters ability off of Hofri, and then I get the ability to sack it twice.
Right? And if they ever wanted to interact and you happen to have Wandering Archaic out.
Exactly.
I mean, get wrecked.
So those are my 3 tutor creatures. My 3 tutor creatures. Now, I'm going to also mention some value creatures that I have.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can already see what you're bringing out here. It's the big guns. How you guys doing over there? Yeah, we brought our crew with us. This is our roadie crew that came with us.
So I have 3 creatures that I kind of dedicate to just like Staxy.
Okay.
Grand Abolisher is one of them. The last thing I want to do is to have the mana to always police other people trying to police me.
Right.
So Grand Abolisher is great for that. Then I have Aven Mind Sensor to stop against the tutors.
Another hated white card.
And then Leonin Arbor also to stop against the tutors.
Yep. Because that makes you pay, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes you pay the extra 2. And like I said before,
Again,
nobody
wants to pay.
Yeah, nobody really wants to pay.
Yeah. So, and then Grand Abolisher helps big time against blue players, again, trying to interact with Boros.
Exactly. I have I have a cantrip creature and Spirited Companion, nice little puppy.
Right.
I have essentially a ritual creature.
That's
in the form
great.
of Reckless Barbarian that says sacrifice it just for 2 red. I can do it twice in a row. Just get 4 mana.
Just get 4 red off of 1 creature if Hofri's out.
Another thing for ramp is Professional Facebreaker, right? When one of my creatures gets in for damage to a player, I get a treasure. If I attack 3 players, I get 3 treasures. And then the
it's per player.
Right.
Oh, so very similar to Dis of the Restless.
Right.
Where you get multiple Goyfs if you attack multiple players.
Exactly.
Nice.
And so it also gives me added utility of treasure tokens where I could impulse draw.
Right. Okay.
One thing else that gives me treasures.
You have Mondrak out.
Exactly. 2 treasures. If I have Mondrak out, I'm not worried about 2 treasures.
Yeah.
I'm worried about 2 of the professional
two Goldspan dragons.
Right, which is the next creature I'm going to talk about. Goldspan Dragon. It gives your treasures a little extra reach.
Yeah, this one actually is like no downside.
Right.
One of the best dragons ever created is Goldspan Dragon.
Right. Another one of my treasure dragons has to be Ancient Copper Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Very expensive. I can't wait for that Final Fantasy reprint. Did you see
once
that?
they got rid of Darkside, you know, like.
Yeah.
Now we have Ancient Copper Dragon.
And with a dragon set that just
and then if you
out,
reanimate it, you got 2.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Sometimes I'll get 2 of them.
Oh, it has haste.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so gross.
That's really great. When I use one of my sacrifice outlets, I'll be able to give it haste.
Oh my gosh. That's just ridiculous, folks. I don't know if you realize that, but like, if you can do all that pre-combat main phase, and you create 2 Ancient Copper spirits that come down that have haste.
Yeah, with Mondrak out.
With Mondrak out.
Ocelot Pride.
And then at the end step, Ocelot Pride can make more copies of those.
Yeah, or Song of the World Soul.
Are you seeing what we're doing here? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, if I have a token copy of Ancient Goldspan Dragon with the 6-mana enchantment out, every time I cast a spell, I'm just going to make more Ancient Copper Dragons that have haste.
Goodness.
I have 6 Ancient Copper Dragons. I'm going to move to attack.
I'm going to move to combat. You're all dead.
A couple other value creatures are going to be Solemn Cinderlacum, gets a land when it enters the battlefield, draws you a card when it leaves, and I could make
lots of ETBs on that.
Archivist of Ogma. It's not really an enters,
but it's a good draw effect. I think. I think it's worth having Archivist in like any deck that plays white.
Right.
I mean, all the way down to like Exhibition level 1, all the way through. Archivist of Ogma is great.
Right. And then some other ways to recur like key things that aren't creatures. I have a Restoration Specialist for 1 white mana. I get to sacrifice it, which means I can do it twice at least.
Boom.
To get back an artifact and enchantment.
Nice.
From my graveyard. Another one of the token doublers I have, not exactly doublers, but it'll give me an additional of 1, is Nesting Dovehawk.
Yeah, that one was great. I saw that in there too.
I really like that one for this deck too.
It's actually sitting right above us, so you can see it. I made it into a ghost.
Yeah. For big wheel effects, I have Magus of the Wheel.
Nice.
I feel like what's great when you have a wheel is that you have 2 wheels.
Right. So, and then the other, you did talk about one other wheel, which was the Miracle Wheel.
Right.
Okay.
I have that. I feel like it should be to go to, I think, in every red deck, just because Wheel of Fortune is kind of priced out for a lot of players.
True, that's true, yeah. When you get to a price point, Wheel of Fortune is way out of most people's price range.
Right.
And if you miracle it, right, if you scroll racking, you could just rip that thing right off the top.
Exactly. And I'm kind of a purist when it comes to Magic. I don't have any... I feel like Magic has a huge enough card pool to say this, but I don't have any proxies in any of my decks.
Okay.
All my cards are real, but at the same time, I'm not against proxies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against it. Just, for me, I like to think around like the key cards that you might think, oh, I need this card for the deck.
Right.
But do you really need it when you have 3 other different versions of it?
Or something like it.
Yeah.
And I guess for efficiency, maybe you need that card, whatever that card is. And because it's more efficient than like the 5 mana version of whatever that card does, right? But,
Right. And if you're also dealing against Thassa players, and for some reason they're playing it in Tier 3, or...
I mean, you can play it in Bracket 3.
Bracket 3.
Yeah.
Magus of the Wheel is really great to, in between their triggers, just to make them wheel when they have no library.
Be like, I'll respond by making everybody wheel.
Exactly. Did you just exile your whole library?
Oh, sorry.
Minor consultations? Draw 7. No, the trigger's on the stack.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, I want to counterspell. And you're like, Red Elemental Blast.
It's an activator. It's a creature, and you counter that ability, it comes back. And I'm just going to do it again.
Oh, my God. And then it comes...
You got 2 counter activated or triggered ability cards.
Right, because it immediately comes back, right?
It
Hofri,
will. It will. Part of the
as soon as it
ability
dies,
is sacrifice. So
you exile it, and then if you do, create a token immediately.
Exactly.
Okay, so now what's the interaction here? So let's say I have Thassa already down.
Thassa enters the battlefield, and
so you're
usually when they respond to they keep priority and they respond to their own enters trigger with Thassa, and they'll cast Demonic Consultation.
Nobody does it the other way around, right? Like you're not casting Demonic Consultation first.
Yeah, no one really casts.
You're always doing Thassa first.
You're always doing Thassa first.
Triggers on the stack.
That's the win con.
Right.
If the trigger's on the stack, you know at least your Thassa resolved, so you'll never exile the library for it.
Okay. But you know with mages, you're drawing 7 cards. Nobody's going to be like, I'm going to risk my blue pips is only 2 with Thassa maybe.
Yeah. So the interaction I'm talking about is that when Thassas enter the battlefield abilities on the stack, and then they maintain priority and cast Demonic Consultation.
Right.
You let the Demonic Consultation resolve with the Thassa ability still in the stack. Then you force them to draw 7 cards with no cards in their library. I mean, if they went for that play, I have an interaction for it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't always come up, but when it does, it feels so good.
Feels so nice.
Another utility creature I have is Trumpeting Carnosaur. It just has Discover 5s when it enters the battlefield. And I feel like,
Discover, what is that for the people that don't know, like myself?
Okay.
I forget what Discover does.
It's essentially better Cascade. You reveal until you get a spell with mana value 5 or less, and then you make
whatever Discover is.
Yeah, whatever the Discover number is. This case it's 5. So when you reveal something that's less than 5, you may cast it, or you may put that in your hand.
Oh.
So if it's not advantageous to cast it,
so you don't necessarily have to cast it.
Exactly.
Right. If you're like, I really don't want to cast it.
What if it's the flawless maneuver that you need later?
I need that later.
Yeah.
I don't need it now.
Right, and then I have Cavalier of Flames. I think it's very good when I want to wheel my own hand. When it enters the battlefield, I would like to wheel my own hand. If I don't have the good cards enough for it, or the interactions that I have, I need to just find a better piece.
Yeah.
When it enters.
So read what it does. Cavalier of Flames.
Yeah, for 1 in a red, your creatures get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn.
Cool.
Which is also great.
Yeah. Especially if you're creating shit tons of treasures or whatever.
Right. When it enters, you may discard any number of cards and draw that many. That's one I was talking about. It's a wheel yourself kind of a creature.
Wheel as much as you wish.
It can happen twice.
Right. And it can happen twice.
So nice, I'll do it twice.
Oh my gosh. And if you had Scroll Rack out. Think of the possibilities.
You could critique it.
How ridiculous.
And then when it dies, it deals damage to each opponent, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. So if I've been using my fetch lands right, or if I just decide...
If you land taxed a bunch, and you've just been discarding some lands.
That could happen too. Right, if I have land tax without Scroll Rack, I'll just do that. You'll always search up 3. If you ever have a land tax and you're scared of having more than 7,
just discard it. Never be scared. Don't be scared. Don't play scared Magic.
Exactly. And the last utility creature I want to talk about that I feel like it's just plain good is Captivating Crew. If we read Hofri Ghostforge more specifically, it says whenever a creature you control dies, you can exile and make a token copy of it. So if I have Captivating Crew, I have the ability to take control of my opponent's creatures, sacrifice them, and then I'll get a token copy of it.
Gosh. I love the way your deck building mind thinks.
I also forgot to talk about Cathar Cabando.
Oh yeah, great card.
Great targeted removal against a Ristic Study or against a Smothering Tide.
Yeah. I tried to get that artist out for our Autism Awareness tournament.
Oh, it's great.
Evan Fong, I think is how you pronounce her name. But she never got back to me. So Evan Fong, if you're watching this, it's just us. Just come on out, hang out.
Yeah, come on to Southern California.
Yeah, next year.
I have some removal creatures that I'd like to talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fiend Hunter. Fiend Hunter is a great old school card. If you really read it and you could play in between the lines, you would realize that there's a rule when it comes to split text and magic. They're both independent abilities.
Right.
And it comes down to the battlefield and it exiles another target creature. And then when it leaves the battlefield, you return the exiled creature to its owner's control. But the thing is that when you respond to its enter ability and sacrifice it, then the leaves ability would go off. You'll return the exiled creature that you never exiled, and then, yeah, it'll just exile the creature permanently.
Oh, wow.
And along with that, I have Skyclave Apparition to get rid of the non-creatures for that reason too.
Right. Is that a permanent? Skyclave?
It says anything converted mana value 4 or less.
4 or less. Okay. Oh,
Any
wow.
non-land.
One ring?
Yeah.
And then they get an XX illusion.
They get illusion, but they won't get the illusion if I respond to its own enters ability.
Look at that. Oh, and see, people thought Boros was just aggro. No.
No.
Also aggravating.
It's tricks. That's right. Tricks are for kids and Boros sometimes.
There you go. Nice. Man.
I have Tear the Peaks, one of the best enters ability creature win con there is.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's great when I have the ability to make token copies of my tokens.
Right.
So I'm consistently making more Tear the Peaks, or I'm consistently triggering the enters abilities because everything in my graveyard or everything on my battlefield is constantly being recycled.
Right.
Either it's token form.
It's always coming back in.
Yeah, or non-token form.
And Tear the Peaks is just like...
Yeah. Targeted removal or targeted player removal.
Now, is it Terror of the Peaks doing the damage?
It's Tear the Peaks doing it.
It's Terror of the Peaks. Basically, he's eating them and then pooping them out as fire out of his mouth.
Exactly.
That's what's happening.
Fuel.
He's using them as fuel.
Yeah. And then I have Solitude. It's just a
removal.
A free way for removal,
Yep.
honestly. And
it gets sacked.
it's great when it evokes,
And then
too.
it comes back.
Yeah. Then I have my 3 Reanimator creatures I have in this deck. I have Emeria Shepherd, honestly my favorite pet white card. Shout out to Emeria Shepherd, 7 mana 4/4 angel that has a landfall ability. Whenever a land enters, you may reanimate a non-land permanent from the graveyard if it's a plains. If it's not a plains, it comes to your hand. Which honestly, I have so many ways to get plains in this deck.
Right.
And that's the majority of my basic lands. I have more plains than I do mountains. And for that reason, and one of the utility lands I'll talk about after this.
Okay.
I have Karmic Guide, just straight up removal, and guess what? It sacrifices itself.
Yeah.
Just don't pay the echo in the next.
Just don't pay the echo. It's
Don't
gone.
pay the echo.
And then it'll come back.
They'll come back, and then you have to pay the echo again.
And then you don't pay it again.
You don't have to.
And now, if let's say you don't pay the echo, it comes back. You can just keep doing that, right?
Well, if you don't pay the echo the second time while it's a token, you have to find other means to get it back.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a token.
Right.
Okay, I forgot about that part. So.
And then Sun Titan.
Of course.
Gets anything back.
Everybody loves Sun Titan.
I love Sun Titan. I remember when Wizards printed that Kaldheim themed Titan Secret Lair, and they left out Sun Titan.
You're like, why?
I literally didn't pick up that whole thing just because they left out.
Just on principle.
On principle, all right. If we want to print all the Giants Wizards, print all the Giants,
right?
And
print the good ones,
If you always reprint Sun Titan, almost every white deck you print, why not print it in the Secret Lair?
Right. It's like Soul Ring now.
Exactly.
If it's a white deck, it requires Sun Titan.
Exactly.
And if it's a Secret Lair Giant set, it needs to have Sun Titan.
Let me tell you about my favorite thing that ever come out of Magic. One of them.
Okay.
It's venture into the initiative.
The initiative.
It's the initiative. It's dungeons. It's
who
delving.
hates the initiative? Is the professor.
The professor hates the initiative?
I don't know why.
Well, that's because it's an emblem that everyone gets to share.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Everyone thinks. What's that other one? What's that other one called? It was okay. So other emblems in Magic, all right. Other than
Planeswalker emblems.
Planeswalker emblems. You have the Capital and Triad. You got Monarch.
Night and Day Monarch.
Night and Day Monarch.
Ascend. City's Blessing. Yeah, they're all. There you go.
Yeah, you get.
Well, that one's not shared.
Every single, like I guess, new set wants to introduce some other funky,
some sort of mechanic like that.
Funky type of emblem that you can get. I thought to myself, it's like, why hate on the Undercity? But I love the Undercity, so I have the 2 white creatures that do it.
It's also fun to play in D&D.
Right.
I don't know.
I have White Plume Adventure and then Seasoned Dungeoneer.
Nice. Now, what's the... there's another initiative creature. It's the Dragon creature?
There's a dragon and then there's a barbarian. I'm thinking about working those two into the deck.
Yeah,
sometime.
He's a dragonborn creature,
Right,
is what he
right.
is.
Dragon
3
bard.
mana, 3/3.
There's a dragon. Oh,
He's a
that
paladin.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that paladin, it doesn't go into the Undercity. It just ventures into a dungeon.
Oh, okay.
So they're different mechanics. There's the one for the commander-specific set that is just the Undercity.
Oh, you just wanted the Undercity. Okay.
It's not that I just want the Undercity. It's just that I like the Undercity's triggers a lot better than the 3 other dungeons.
And now, isn't the Undercity like the bigger one of them? You have more choices.
We have a whole set. Oh no! The Undercity is just one dungeon. It's the Undercity.
No, I know, but like on that dungeon card though, the Undercity. I'm gonna put it up here on the screen right now so everybody can see while I stupidly talk through it. But like it has more places you can go within that card, right?
I believe so. I think it has at least 2 extra dungeons than the other dungeons.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was getting at.
And honestly, I don't mind too much of the room ability. It's just the consistency of it. Like if you just venture to the Undercity, you're not fumbling around with which one is better now of the other 3 dungeons you have.
Right. Yeah, you're just like, give me the Undercity. That's it.
Exactly.
We're going there.
And that's what Take the Initiative does. I do have the one other creature that does say venture into the dungeon, and they do interact with each other. If you didn't know that, if you're in the Undercity, you're technically in a dungeon, and when you venture into the dungeon, you go further into the Undercity.
There you go.
Just go further into the Undercity.
Undercity is also really fun to play in Baldur's Gate. I don't know if you played that game.
No, I need to pick it up.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I've been meaning to it. I just got Oblivion though, Oblivion Remastered.
Oh yeah, I heard that came out just recently, Oblivion.
So Radiant Solar is the venture into the Undercity creature that I have.
And so why that one?
Because it has whenever another creature enters that's a non-token. So I have creatures that I'm just normally casting, and then I'm consistently reanimating with those other 3 creatures. And then if I already have the Undercity started, if I trigger the last room ability, I'm going to get another creature. Might as well continuously just keep on going and going and going into the dungeons.
Oh my gosh.
And now, like that's essentially the deck.
Yeah, we got the lands. You got a couple of utility lands.
I have 2 key utility lands when it comes to this kind of reanimate strategy. Then I have a couple of things that fetch utilities.
So why high market?
High market taps to sacrifice.
That's right.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
It's another sacrifice. The other utility land I want to talk about is the Emeria Shepherd.
Okay.
It's a reanimate land.
Right.
So on the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 7 or more planes, you get to reanimate a creature.
Another reason why you would have mostly planes in this deck.
Right.
And so now for your regular lands, your colored lands, do you have do you play like high-end lands on that?
High-end lands? Well, like I said before.
Like a plateau.
Yeah, plateau. Like I said before, I'm one of those people who's more of a purist. I use cards that I own.
Gotcha.
And I can never justify
paying $300
paying $300 for a land.
You guys should
just regular dual land. Exactly. I mean, if it's a great utility land, I get it.
Yeah.
But if it's just a land that just taps for anything, I don't mind taking 2 by fetching or shopping either.
You know what's a great utility land? Not in these colors, but like that I picked up recently, but it's decently priced. Is the Lake of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, like $40 right now?
Yeah, it's like not even that expensive, and you get like 4 black mana.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, and you also play it in your Lord Windgrace.
And I played it in my Lord Windgrace.
I played it in my Lord Windgrace deck too.
Yeah, it's so good.
The other utility lands, just to mention, is Emergent Zone. It's always great to be able to flash in and enters answer.
Can you imagine just like on the end step, or responding like you said to that Fossa,
right?
And be like, okay, on the stack.
Exactly.
And now I'm going to interact and make a bunch of tokens and do so much things.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a Terror of the Peak trigger and shoot you in the face and you're dead.
Why not? Buried Ruin and Inventor Sphere kind of gets artifacts, the key artifacts. The way I play it is that I'm always trying to get value in each turn. And like I said before, if I have one of the 2 draw engines, like if I have Land Tax or Scroll Rack, I'll try to get the other. And Adventure Sphere helps me get the Scroll Rack if I have Land Tax. And then Buried Ruin helps me get back the Scroll Rack if it got destroyed.
Nice. Yeah, you need the scroll rack. That's like a key part of the strategy, I guess, or one of the main strategies.
Just for that little draw interaction,
Right.
it's really good.
Yeah,
honestly,
and especially because like Boros traditionally doesn't have a lot of draw.
Yeah,
and when you bring that legacy, trick in there, interaction, you got drawn in white and red.
You just get to draw 3.
And there's no downside.
The only downside you have is that you want to stop yourself from having more lands than another player.
Yeah, but you still have other things that are like okay, even if you have lands in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So you're really not that bad off.
Yeah, and then I have Hall of Heroes Generosity that just get back one of those key enchantments. Kind of like the buried. It kind of meets Buried Ruin for land tags.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gets it back if it was ever in the graveyard.
Boom.
Sunhome Fortress is just the whatever kind of thing that I have that gives a creature double strike. And it's great if you targeted the one dragon that cares about damage.
You get that double strike on the old Ancient Copper Dragon.
Exactly.
And how many treasures is that?
They're on 2d20s.
And then you also happen to have the Goldspan Dragon out. Oh, wait.
Yeah, double.
So now all of them are doubles.
That's right.
Cue
in the double mint gum commercial.
So yeah, you might it's a double mint gum commercial. Nice. All right, so we're going to bring up here a couple of things on the screen. We're going to bring them up here as well. There's a couple of hands. So I went into your Moxfield, and I looked at your deck, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring up a couple of hands here. We're going to discuss those hands. And you tell me, like, would you keep that hand?
Okay.
So the first one is right there.
Yeah,
and then we're going to bring it up here on the screen. So I'll give you time to do that. You can take your time.
So first hand.
So first hand we got here. What would you keep that hand?
Honestly, it's kind of barren when it comes to only having colorless sources.
Right. I mean, it does have. Is that a fetch?
No. That's Rugged Prairie, which is a filter land.
Oh, it's a filter land, but you do have another land that could filter, though.
I don't have anything to pay for the filter cost. It's
the filter is colored, isn't it?
It's white.
That's right.
So I might be tempted to keep this hand, but it's going to be risky.
Why would you be tempted to keep it?
I have 3 lands, which is great if you're only playing 33 cards in a deck.
Okay.
33 lands in a deck. I got a Reanimator payoff. I have an initiative that would get me to the land to get to the Reanimator payoff.
Okay.
Like Commanders. And then I also have a Emeria Shepherd in here.
All right.
Emeria Shepherd is one of my love cards. And then you'll find some prisoners. You have one piece of pretty decent interaction that can destroy an artifact or mess up a tutor.
So now let's say you're in a tournament with this deck and you see this hand. Would you keep that hand?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll risk it. So
just you risk it in like a casual game, but
exactly
in a tournament play, that hand's gone.
Exactly.
All right, next hand.
Next hand. This has 0 creatures in here, but it also has interactions that I like.
Right.
It has both Generous Gift and you find some prisoners.
Right.
I will definitely keep this hand.
You keep this hand 100%?
Especially with a Mana Vault.
Oh, a Mana Vault for sure? Okay.
Yeah, you got the ramp.
Mana Vault, interaction. You're eventually going to get to Hofri at this point.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And then you have the Winds of Abandon. It's a decent board wipe.
Yeah. So, basically, you're going to get Hofri out, take care of their board.
Right.
All right, the last hand.
The last hand is the best keepable hand I've ever seen.
Okay, why is that?
It's got Rugged Prairie, which can be my red or my green source. It's got a land to activate Rugged Prairie. It's got Ocelot Pride, a turn 1 play. It's got a turn 2 play with Archivist of Ogma. It helps you draw a little bit.
Right.
It's got 1 piece of interaction when it comes down to Pyroblast.
Which you could hold up, I guess. But I don't know how you couldn't hold that up on turn 1, though, right?
It really wouldn't make sense to hold it up on turn 1.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have the red source. I don't have the red source.
Right.
But turn 1 would definitely be Ocelot.
Yeah. Because you could possibly get in for that 1 lifelink damage.
Yeah.
And then get a cat.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
So it's got a draw piece in Archivist of Ogma. It's got one of the key token doublers in Ocelot Pride. And it's got an interactive piece in Pyroblast, and it's got Felden.
Right.
Felden, if I ever get my 3rd land, which I hope I will with my draw.
Right.
Felden would be a way to like reoccur the Ocelot Pride for an ability or a type of trigger.
Right. And then you had the altar as well, right?
And then I have one of my sack outlets.
Right.
Which is also
so you could sack the token cat maybe that you get.
Right.
And get the extra 2 mana that you need. You could probably be casting Hofri even.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Right.
So, all right, yeah.
I would say out of these two, I would say the second one is the best for the two pieces of interaction.
Yeah.
And then the third one is great for personal setup. And I feel like that's one thing that a lot of Commander players have to realize, whether or not you need to be proactive or reactive. If it's fun, you always want to be proactive. If you're in a tournament, you're going to want to value reaction.
You want to be reactive, like immediately reactive.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a big thing about like mulliganing and keeping hands. And a lot of people have been talking about that recently. Is like, you know, how do I mulligan properly? How do I know what to keep? You know, and you make a good point there. It really depends on what situation you're in.
Yeah, if you're playing a tournament, you're going to always want to keep reactive hands more than proactive hands, unless it's aggressively proactive.
Right.
If you see a win within like
a couple of turns or something like that.
Yeah, if you see a win within the first like 3 to 4 turns, sometimes it pays off to keep that one.
Right. And this is this is Sean, the dank wizard, the dark wizard, the
dirty wizard,
the
dirty warlock,
the dirty
warlock,
filthy dirty warlock,
the filthy dirty warlock. I'm gonna teach you how to dig in the trash. All right, like a Goyf should.
Exactly,
like any Goyf should.
Right. See, Goyfs just eat the trash. They don't like make new things out of the trash. They just get bigger from the trash. So
check out Raw Magic.
There you go. Check out Raw Magic. And, oh yeah, by the way, anything else you want to shout out? Anything you got going on?
I believe we're going to be there at Vegas. Come over to see both you and Raw Magic Group.
All right, sweet. You're going to be at MagicCon?
Yeah.
Okay.
MagicCon Vegas.
Going to be a MagicCon, so anybody coming out to MagicCon, come out and hang out. We'll be somewhere around in that giant convention center of a hotel or wherever it's at. So,
shout out to Joe Johnson and his cookout right before.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to that as well. Are you going?
You are?
Yeah.
Right now it's still up in the air.
It's not that bad.
I understand, but if they're so close.
I'll tell you what, Tabletop Jocks, man, they do it up. If you haven't got there yet, you need to go to the cookout. It's $60. It's the best food you can possibly eat. Last year's food was amazing.
Okay.
There was a couple of issues like with that company or whatever, but that aside, the food was good. So you get all the food, you got a great company, magic for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Can't eat it.
All right.
Come on out, man. Anyway, so there we go. We got June. We got Tabletop Jocks Cookout coming up. We got MagicCon. We're going to see y'all out there.
Right.
Raw Magic will definitely be at both of those events. And you're definitely coming to MagicCon. So.
Definitely coming to MagicCon.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all we got, folks. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Sandy Bull, signing off. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support us directly, go to patreon.com/badgoyfs. Also, follow us on all social media, links in the description below. And remember, you're all my Goyfs, and I love you. Bye-bye.